to the Chuck and Troop Show. My boy
Hello,
Chuck
everybody.
back in the building today. Chuck, let the crowd know how you feeling. I know that Monday night was rough, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But otherwise, how are you?
I'm feeling pretty good. Football's off and running. We got MLB playoffs around the corner. I think it's a great time for sports right now. Everybody should be excited every day of the week. We got games.
Yep. And pretty soon we'll hit that point where all four major sports and maybe even college football have a game going on simultaneously. And when that moment comes, there's nothing else quite like it. So,
No, nothing else.
best time of the year for sports, best time of the year for Chuck and Shoot. We got another great episode today. We're going to be talking about our NFL power rankings, specifically our top 10 and bottom 10. MLB playoffs have started, and we don't want to cheat too much because it did start today. We know some of the results, but we will give our ALCS, NLCS, and World Series predictions. But we like to start the show off with our very favorite segment.
Yeah.
W's and L's, except we have a W of the week and we have an L of the week. And they're both football related. So let's jump into it. Chuck, what is the W of the week?
So W of the week's going to go to our guy, Puka Nacua. I like to call him Puka Matata, means no worries for the rest of your days. So this guy came onto the scene. Cooper Kupp gets hurt. Who's the next guy to step up on the Rams offense? This guy named Puka Nacua from BYU. I thought he was a tight end this whole time for the weeks 1 and 2, but he was a wide receiver. It's like, who the hell is this guy? First week, like 15 targets for like 115 yards. Next week, 20 targets, gets like 12 or 15 catches for 159 yards. Shoop had him in his fantasy team. He was playing against me. Absolutely murdered my ass in the second half of those game slates. I thought I had in the bag, but then this guy shows up and just fucking murders me. So he comes in Monday night against the Bengals, gets like 35 yards in the first half, really nothing in the second half, but ends with 72 yards receiving. Almost had a touchdown at the end of that game. This past week, dude absolutely blew up. I had him in a parlay with like over 100 yards receiving, and it hit. My parlay didn't hit, but that's fine. But this guy is absolutely a maniac. He catches everything. I think he had, again, like over 150 yards receiving or something like that. Again, like 20 targets. He looks like Stafford's favorite guy, and I absolutely love this kid, and I hope he continues to excel at a high level when Cooper Kupp comes back.
Let's break this down a little bit more to put this into context. His 39 receptions over his first 4 games, the most ever by any NFL player in terms of reception for first 4 career games. And he broke that record with his first catch of the game. So 31 when it broke the record, he got 39. He's got 501 receiving yards, most ever through a receiver's first 4 games. He has his 501 receiving yards is second in the NFL, ahead of Tyreek Hill, just behind Justin Jefferson. And his first career touchdown happens to be a clutch game winner. And to really break down what makes him so great, he's a great route runner. He finds ways to get open, but once he gets open, whenever a defender hits him, he always seems to get 2 or 3 more yards after the play, like a good running back would. So that right there, it just, he can turn 2nd and 3 into first down just like that. So it's no wonder why Stafford targets him. And I really don't think his production, it's not going to be as huge as it is now, but with Cooper Kupp back, he should still maintain a very good season, and he's definitely my favorite for Rookie of the Year right now.
I like that pick a lot. I would love to know the odds. I'll get that in a second. And you're totally right. Defenses have to account for him now, especially when Cooper Kupp comes back too. So that makes the Rams offense even more better.
They got no choice, but there's a certain team where defenses have to account for nobody on the offense. And what team is that, Chuck?
Our sad but not forgotten New York Giants. which it pains me to see what just happened yesterday on Monday. But I honestly have to think here. The only way you can go is up. But RL, like I know the O line wasn't doing well, but RL has to go to Danny Dimes. I think he played the worst game in his career. Without like and like everybody on Twitter saying it was the O line, everybody on the radio saying it's him. It's a little bit of both, but this time I'm going to put it on the quarterback because we just paid him fucking $40 million a year. And that game was not a good look. It was 14-3. You're going into the red zone and you throw a pick six. And in that play, there was a corner route open the same side he was looking to with fucking Darren Waller. We're not getting Darren Waller involved. I don't know why Dimes and Waller aren't on the same page, or at least like looking at each other to make better plays, like how Mahomes and Kelsey operate. But I mean, that's Mahomes and Kelsey. Dimes, I went into like a film analysis. He missed so many like quick reads that he could have just got the ball out, and there wouldn't have been sacks, there wouldn't have been a fumble. I get the line's not blocking. Looks like he's playing scared, but dude, you're the quarterback of the New York Football Giants. You got to nut up and take care of the football. And I know he's not the guy to make excuses, but like I'm tired of hearing like the fucking O-line is the problem when you got a quarterback you're paying $40 million and he's not making the right reads. Because I know the offensive coordinator, Kafka, he's putting the plays in place to expose the defense and take what the defense gives you. But Dimes' mind isn't – I don't think his mind's there. And we need Andrew Thomas back, I guess. We need Saquon back. But somebody's going to have to make plays, and the quarterback's not looking real good to shoot. So what do you think?
This whole team needs to be ashamed of themselves. I mean, it's not totally the fault that we really just don't have the talent right now to compete. Now with our two best players really out with Thomas and Saquon, but it's not an excuse. That's on the front office for not building some depth. We had cap space in the offseason. They could have done something. 100%. But this was, I called it a must-win game because now the Dolphins and Bills are lurking on that schedule. We're already 1-3. How are we going to keep up with those offenses? I mean, like, what I hate seeing is the coaching spat between Daniel Jones and Brian Daboll.
I hate that too.
I'm glad that Brian Daboll has the guts to call out his quarterback like that, deservedly so. But I didn't like Daniel Jones' reaction to it, and he took a whopping 11 sacks. It's one on one hand, it's like you can do a better job of evading pressure. You're mobile, but at the same time, his line is not giving him a chance. And you've played football before. You might not have played quarterback, but you know that if you're getting pressure in your face all the time, you start seeing ghosts like Sam Darnold. You start like freaking out and not playing up to your best. And I think that element is there. That's why he's not connecting with his receivers. He's not making the basic plays because he's in his head. But it's really unfortunate because we all knew that the Giants had a tough schedule.
Yeah.
But we want to see them compete. They look like one of the worst teams in the NFL right now. They're not competing.
The worst.
They're not competing. So it sucks because we had some high expectations this year, but maybe we can get a good draft pick. Yay.
And I hate to be the like pessimistic, but I'm gonna be optimistic here. Like, I mean, it's a week-to-week league, so I'm hoping something changes. Maybe we play the younger guys Hyatt and Robinson more because the wide receivers also, I'd like to say, just aren't putting any effort to getting open. So let's hopefully something changes.
We need a patented Daboll upset one of these two games or our season's over.
Exactly.
We're going to be buried behind in that NFC East. All right. Well, let's talk about our NFL power rankings. And I like to start with the bottom 10 since we're already talking about our bottom teams. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list my 32 through 28.
Mm-hmm.
and then you do your 32 through 28, and then we'll talk about our differences. So, in my bottom 5 teams in the league, I have the Chicago Bears as the worst team in the NFL. I have the Giants as the second worst. I got the Broncos as the third worst, Panthers at 29, and I got the Raiders at 28. Now, what do you have?
So I have agreed. I got the Bears. 31, I got the Cardinals. 30, I have the Panthers. 29, I have the Patriots. And 28, I have the Raiders.
Okay, so my first question to you. So you have the Cardinals at 31.
Yeah.
Do you believe that what you've seen so far is fluky, or do you just like not believe in the team so far?
I just think that like they really have no star players on defense except for Buda Baker, but it looks like he's like injury ridden. So I'm thinking here that the Cardinals are in a tough division and the Rams look good right now. I'm thinking they just get killed by their division. And then the other games that they play, like they can definitely fight, but other than that, I don't really think that the Cardinals can win many games. So that's why I have them as the second worst team.
Any questions you have about my list?
I would like to ask why you put the Giants as the second worst team in the NFL.
Right now, nothing is clicking. The defense is not great. The defense has looked very exposable in this first half of the season. And, Geno might not have been healthy that game with the hit that he took. So that could have impacted his play. Otherwise, we've seen his defense, like Josh Dobbs was getting first down after first down against us before the team ended up collapsing. And in the third game, the Giants, they made some plays, but it just looked like a huge talent disparity between them and the 49ers. But if they can't play defense and they can't block and they don't have any sort of passing going, and now Saquon is hurt, right now they're the second worst team in the NFL. If Andrew Thomas and Saquon get healthy, they'll be better, but they're not right now. So that's where I have them.
I see. I definitely see. Any other questions about my list? I think we're all on the same page here.
Yeah. I'm actually curious about certain teams that you don't have, but why do you have the Patriots in your bottom 5?
I think that Mac Jones, I mean, he did play against the Cowboys defense that was very good. And he has thrown for a lot of yards in previous games before that. But I just don't think – I think the AFC East is going to be a tough schedule for them. They definitely beat the Jets, but can they beat the Bills or the Dolphins? I don't think so. And I just think Bill Belichick, I think he's on his way out. Judon injured his bicep, so he's going to be out. What's his name? Also, Gonzalez got hurt. So I think a lot of injuries are going to screw them. And then, I mean, it's Bill O'Brien's first year as offensive coordinator. He can get the job done for them, but I don't know. It's going to be tough for them, I think, to win games in late game situations, especially no playmakers on the outside, too. And they're running like 3 tight ends running routes at the same time. So I don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah, it's very fair.
And no run game, negative run game.
It's very fair to say that Belichick is past it. It seems like he likes to hire his guys. He brings in Matt Patricia and then Bill O'Brien. He's got his sons on the team. It seems like he owns the franchise, so he gets to do what he wants. So it's
understandable.
I don't think the Patriots ever fire him, to be honest.
I see that. But hopefully he can get wins with that roster.
Yeah, hopefully soon. So let's continue on with our bottom 5s. So, bottom 10s. So to round out my list, after Bears, Giants, Broncos, Panthers, Raiders, I have the Patriots at number 27. I got the Cardinals all the way up at 26. Commanders at 25. The Saints at 24. And the Jets at 23.
Okay. All right. I'll start at I went to 20. Did I go to 27? I have the Broncos. 26, I then have the Giants. 25, I have Atlanta. 24, Commanders. 23, Jets. 22, Titans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the record, I guess the Titans would make it the 11th team, but I would put the Titans at 22.
They were like they're like that's why I put 22. So like I didn't know it was either Jets or Titans. I just put them out there.
Yeah, very fair. So what I like to open up with your list, Atlanta. I didn't have Atlanta in my bottom 10. Why do you have Atlanta in your bottom 10?
So their first two games were against the Panthers and I forgot the other one. But their last two games were against the Jaguars and the Lions. And they do seem to have like a really good pass defense and they run the ball really efficiently. But I really don't see the Falcons winning a lot of games with Desmond Ridder at quarterback. And I'm definitely looking forward to the Falcons playing the Texans this weekend. I think CJ Stroud's going to have a field day and throw all over the field. We'll get to that game later. But I just don't think Desmond Ridder, as the Atlanta Falcons quarterback, can get games done late, like in the fourth quarter, especially against their division's also going to be tough where the Saints are going to be clawing for a playoff spot. Bucks are going to be clawing for a playoff spot. The Panthers are their ass, but their defensive, I think their pass defense is just as good as the Falcons' pass defense. So I think that the Falcons are going to have a rough time on defense, stopping teams that like to throw a lot.
What I like about the Falcons and why I didn't include them in my bottom 10, and to be fair, all your points are very good. I don't think Ridder is a starting quarterback in the NFL right now.
Right? Okay.
Maybe he could develop into one, but at least right now he's not.
Yeah.
But their strength of the team is the run game. And the last two teams they played, the Jaguars and Lions, have very good run defenses. So it seems like the Falcons are going to run into this problem where they play a good run defense, they're screwed. But if they play a poor run defense, then it's their bread and butter. And on defense, they've got a lot of good playmakers on there to keep them in games all year. So I don't think they're bottom 10 worthy. But what questions do you have about?
I want to ask. So the Saints, you don't think the Saints can come back and make a run here? Especially, I mean, I know Carr's injured, but I feel like they have a complete roster. Their defense is old, but they can get after the quarterback, I think. But what do you think?
Well, that's the question. Can they get after the quarterback? It's been kind of inconsistent.
Yeah.
Game after game. And they're still a bottom 10 pressure rate team. The concerns for me is the biggest one is the coaching. The coaching is still really bad. Is Derek Carr, are we going to run into another Joe Burrow-like situation where Derek Carr is hurt? It's his shoulder. He didn't look right at all this past week. Are they going to just keep throwing him out there until the wheels come off? I hate when teams put out hurt quarterbacks like that.
Yeah.
Why wasn't Olave getting the ball? Why? Where was the receiving game? It was just check downs to Kamara the entire game. Like I think he had 13 catches.
Yeah.
For 39 yards, which happy for PPR owners, but like that's an insane amount of check downs. And losing at home to a division rival, which the Buccaneers have had a good start to the season. I don't consider them an elite team, but the Saints, like, they blew that lead against the Packers a few weeks ago. It really comes down to coaching. I just don't really believe. I don't believe they have the right leader in charge. I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I definitely see the coaching aspect. I wasn't really a fan of Arthur. What's his name? Arthur Smith.
Dennis Allen
the
Saints. Arthur Smith is the Falcons.
This Falcons, yeah. No, yeah, Dennis Allen, no, not my guy.
Mm-hmm. And now you had the Broncos at 27. I had them at 30. I think despite the win that their defense is still, it might be the worst in the league right now.
Yeah.
What separates them for you? Like, do you think that they're better than the record indicates?
No, definitely I agree with you. Their defense is absolutely poop. But I think just the the presence of a new coach and Russell Dangerwich action. I don't know. I feel like that team, watching them come back against one of the worst teams in the league, though, it showed me that they had heart and that they weren't really going to give up in that game, even though they were down like 25 points. It was an amazing comeback. So I still think that Sean Payton has the will to get his guys ready every Sunday to play a complete game, unless it's the Dolphins in Miami.
Yeah, that was not even a complete game, just a very incomplete game.
Awful. Yeah.
Daryl. So that's our bottom 10. If you'd like to know more, drop a comment below, ask us about a team, or give your opinion on the teams that we've given so far. And we will get to our top 10. But first, quick sponsor. If you like the necklace that I'm wearing, this is from Arichi. So if you would like to get one yourself or get a bracelet, go into the link below and sign up and grab some merch.
Some bling bling.
Like a Chuck? You like the bling bling?
Yeah, I like that.
Very cool, very cool. But no more sponsors. Back to the video. Top 10 time. So let's go through our 6 through 10. So for my 6 through 10, I have the Browns starting at number 10, the Chargers at number 9, the Ravens at number 8, the Lions at 7, the Cowboys at 6.
Okay. I have at 10 the Bucks. I have 9 the Chargers, at 8 Dolphins, 7 Ravens, and then 6 Cowboys.
So what immediately stands out on your list is you have the Dolphins much lower than I have. I didn't mention the Dolphins yet, and spoiler, they're in my top 5. But you have them all the way down at 8. Did you see something in that latest loss that really concerned you?
Yeah, I'm concerned about just like that their pass defense. Like, I mean, once they get, I don't know when Ramsey's coming back, but I don't know. Their secondary to me just didn't look like they were on the same page. And Josh Allen was just fucking slinging it all over the field. Missed tackles by the secondary also for the Dolphins. I'm definitely not counting them out as a top 5 team, but right now, after watching that performance and they lost by double digits, and they couldn't even keep it close. I'm just thinking that maybe the Dolphins are kind of overrated. And yes, their offense is flashy and whatnot. But first game, I forgot that, but they played the Patriots. They're about to play the Giants. They played the Broncos. So I don't think like those teams are very good. I think the Bills is the best team that they played so far. So I'm thinking, can they play good teams tight? And I mean, Tua's balling, but can their defense get stops against good teams?
That's a very important point. We will see if it's the Dolphins embarrassing teams or if the Dolphins just happen to play a light schedule. But while they do have the most explosive offense in the league on paper, on metrics, whatever, their defense is bottom 10 right now, total. So it's just something to watch out for, especially when we get closer to playoff time, making those predictions.
Long season. We'll see. Question for you. Now you got the Browns in there. You really on the toilet Browns?
My feeling on this past week's game was that DTR sucked.
Yeah.
And the Browns realized quickly that the game was at hand and they gave up. Does that could be, indicative of coaching, but it could also just mean like the game was kind of just going the wrong way for them. And where I'm going with this though is the Ravens are a good team. The defense for the Browns is still elite. The Browns just made some boneheaded plays. Like there was one play where Elijah Moore took an end around and he got negative 20 yards. Without looking at the play itself, just looking at the box score, that looks insane. But he was just running around for his life and just didn't make good decisions. So there was just some bonehead decisions that could have kept them closer. But DTR clearly wasn't ready for his first game. He's a 5th-round rookie, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
The defense is still one of the best in the NFL. I'm extremely impressed with how well the Browns used their free agent money to tackle that defense with Thornhill at safety and then plugging in Tomlinson in the middle of that defense. And Myles Garrett is my favorite right now to win Defensive Player of the Year. I think it's not close right now, honestly. I think he's the runaway favorite right now. So I think that'll keep them in many games, and I trust them more than the other two AFC North teams that they're currently ahead of.
I agree. I'm hoping that Watson doesn't botch their team. I'm hoping he plays well and he doesn't fumble the ball or anything. So all eyes are on Watson.
For sure. For sure. Your number 10 team, you have the Buccaneers. I do not have in my top 10. I'm aware that they're 3-1, but you could make the same case for some other teams that you already talked about that the Bucs have had an easy schedule so far. But what makes you put them in your top 10?
I think I'm going really off of that recent game going into New Orleans. Yes, the Saints played a hurt Derek Carr, but like watching that game, like I feel like their defense was just balling out and like getting after it and running all over the field. And Baker Mayfield, I think, is playing great football. He's really just taking what the defense gives him. He's not trying to play hero ball. Yes, Mike Adams gets hurt, but then he comes out and still like scores a touchdown, like even though Mike Evans is hurt. So I think there's a lot of fire to Baker here, and I definitely put that in there for a stretch. Maybe what do you think? Bucs are top 15?
I think they played like a top half team for sure, but they're definitely in that middle range for me. I actually think that game is more on the Saints not showing up. That's just my
especially at home. I'm on the Baker train heavy. I'm Ryan Mayfield. He's my guy. Pause. Mayfield, pause. But Baker's my guy, and I can't wait to see what he does. They're on a bye this week. I think so. But I'm excited to see what he's going to do in that division. So maybe the Bucs pull it out.
Yeah, and you know what? I like rooting for Baker Mayfield, so I'm all for it.
Other than that, our top half is pretty similar.
Yes. So let's go into our top 5. And my top 5 is the Philadelphia Eagles coming in at number 5, Dolphins at 4, Chiefs at 3, Bills at 2, 49ers at 1.
I have it pretty similar. I got Bills at 1, 49ers 2, 3 Eagles, 4 Lions, 5 Chiefs.
So the Chiefs is an interesting one. You are a proclaimed Chiefs fan on this show, and you have them lower than I have them. What is your pessimism regarding the Chiefs?
So, I mean, after what, like, I'm going off the most recent game. They played against the Jags at Jacksonville in week 2, and they beat them. They lost to the Lions week 1. Their defense only let up minus 13 points, and their defense is coming along great throughout these last couple of weeks. I just put them at 5 because this past week, I think they got to stop overlooking teams with good defense. I think they overlooked the Jets. They got up 17-0, and then I think Mahomes he fucked me in fantasy. I love you, Pat, but he fucked me over in fantasy. He's just sitting back there, and I don't know. He's throwing balls that he shouldn't be throwing, and like he knew their picks right away. You see him on Sunday Night Football going, my bad. Like, yeah, no shit, it's your bad. You threw right at the guy. So they're taking teams lightly, and I also don't think that their wide receivers are on the same page still. Like they're still rotating like 6. They're still having like a 6 wide receiver rotation, and I'm not worried yet about the Taylor Swift attention, but I will say I'm not superstitious about it, but I'm definitely stitious about it. So hopefully it creates winning, which it has. She's 2-0 so far coming to the games. But I just hope it doesn't affect Travis Kelce's play and then ultimately Mahomes' play, because Kelce's his number 1 guy, and these wide receivers need to figure it out and learn the fucking system. Somebody at wide receiver needs to step up, and it's not going to be MVS.
Mm-hmm. I do think, though, you have to think about the fact that Mahomes played his worst game of the season in a while, if anything,
Yeah.
and the Chiefs still won. I mean, we could talk about the penalty, but the thing about bogus penalties in the NFL is you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you have to win based on the penalty.
Yeah.
That's my take on that. But I think it's impressive that the Chiefs didn't play their best football and still beat a pretty good defense.
And we'll see how their offense does going forward. Because they got the Vikings. The Vikings' pass defense is atrocious.
Yeah.
And Murphy, whatever his name is, the Vikings talking hella shit, and he's going to give Kelsey a run for his money. But we'll see, buddy. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have the Eagles at 5, so I'll come right back to you with a 5 question as well. You don't think that I have them at 3 because I think they still dominate every team physically with their run game, and then Jalen Hurts is playing kind of well.
The problem is they haven't been dominating at all. I mean, the Bucks game, like I think Baker Mayfield got kind of exposed in that game versus the Eagles, and there's a lot of good pieces to love about this team. I mean, the offensive line is still good, and Jalen Carter is a stud already, so that's great signs. But there's weaknesses on this. There's weaknesses on this team for sure. The pass game, other than the 2 stud wideouts, isn't great. The Goddard's nowhere to be found. The secondary is exposable. The linebackers aren't all that great, and they just seem kind of lost on offense sometimes. It's the fact that both their coordinators are gone. They're just struggling to maintain that same dominance. They're 4-0. They're 4-0.
That's what I got. Yeah, that's what I got.
They're still finding ways to win games as good teams do. But if you look at the metrics, they're a middle of the pack offense and a middle of the pack defense right now. So when they end up playing a team like the Cowboys or the 49ers, I'm not sure if they do play the 49ers this year, but when they do end up playing a good team this year, because at least so far they haven't had a very good caliber matchup yet. When they do play one of those teams, we're not going to see that sort of like domination. I think we're going to see maybe an offensive struggle, and if some of these teams can get into shootouts very easily, I don't know. I don't see the same dominance as last year. They're still a good team, but they're definitely a little bit worse than last year.
Now, I have another question for you. The Dolphins. You seem to really like the Dolphins at 4 right there. What gives them the edge at 4?
Over the Eagles?
Yeah.
This is a historically well-performing offense right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, week 4 was a blowout, and it is definitely a good reality check that the team needed. But there's still the 3 weeks before that where they're putting up ridiculous numbers, and Tua is finding guys all over the field. You don't win by 50 by accident,
Yeah.
You win because you have McDaniel and this organization has put players in positions. They've drafted just fast, elite, athletic guys, and they've put them in the right places on the field, and defenses can't keep up. And McDaniel has truly been genius in the way that he schemes his receivers open by using their speed to get them out open 20, 25 yards downfield. So when they cut left or they cut right, by the time the DB reacts, it's over. And then you have the quarterback in place, Tua, who can make those throws. Dolphins, if they score like that and they make plays like that, they can beat anybody in the league. And one point that I want to make is when they played the Chargers. Shout out, I believe it's Alex Rollins, who is really good YouTuber, who does a lot of NFL film analysis. He pointed out how Mike McDaniel countered Brandon Staley mid-game when the Chargers were basically running like a cover 2 shell to try to box those receivers in and not let them get open in space.
Yeah.
What he did was he opened up the flat for like his tight ends and his running backs and was exposing them down there, so eating up first downs.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually Staley had to adjust, and then they could go back to their regular game plan.
Yeah.
McDaniel is an excellent coach, and people like him because he's funny, but he's an excellent coach. So I have great faith, as long as Tua stays healthy, that the Dolphins are one of the best teams in the NFL.
I like the case. And it looks like we're similar right there with Bills and 49ers. I would not be mad with a Bills 49ers Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're very interchangeable. I just think the 49ers are complete in all facets. The injury to Tre'Davious White, I think, the win was impressive, but his injury knocks him down off the top spot for me.
I have the Bills at the top after Josh Allen's performance at home against the Dolphins. So 3
blowouts in a row for them. So give them credit after a really poor first game.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So I think we should segment into our NFL Pick 'em from here before we get into our MLB playoff talk. So there's a lot of toss-ups this week. So I picked 3 toss-ups to go between. And we briefly touched on this game before, but let's start with Atlanta and Houston. Who you got in this one?
So let me see. It's Atlanta.
It's in Atlanta.
It's in Atlanta. So I was saying earlier, Falcons have let up over like 200 passing yards in the last couple of games. Yeah, one game was in London, and one game was against the Lions. But I think they're going up against another heavy passing attack, and C.J. Stroud and Tank Dell and Nico Collins and the boys. So I think C.J. Stroud's going to have a prolific game again. Throw for another 300 yards, a couple touchdown passes. Tank Dell, anytime touchdown, book it. Let's go Texans.
Yeah, my initial pick was the Texans, but then I thought about it a little bit more, and I'm going to touch on the point that I made earlier in this video, that when the Falcons have the chance to play poor run defenses, I think their natural bread and butter will shine through, and this is a game perfect for them. The Texans have a poor run defense, and Stroud has looked good so far, but if the Falcons can keep the game in their favor, keep the run game going, I think this is a big bounce back spot for them. I got the Falcons winning.
Hopefully it's a good ass game, because actually I would not like a blowout.
For sure, no. 2 teams that got blown out last week, the Patriots and the Saints.
Yeah,
both these teams are looking for a bounce back, but who actually gets that bounce back?
I am going to go with the Saints. I think Derek Carr probably watched the film and he's like, shit, like that was ass. I probably shouldn't have played. I'm hoping he feels better this time. He didn't really look like he was favoring that. I wonder if it was his shoulder, but didn't look like he was favoring that injury. I'm hoping that they open up the playbook. They got Alvin Kamara back for this is the second week. Hopefully they give him not 13 receptions, but like maybe more rushing attempts, try to open up the lanes with Judon hurt on the Patriots side. And I'm pretty sure Christian Gonzalez is also hurt. So I'm taking the Saints. I think they're going to throw all over the Patriots.
I'm going to go opposite of you again, and I think this is a perfect spot for Patriots to bounce back. If Bailey Zapp is the starter or Mac Jones is the starter. Tough game for the Patriots last week, playing a poor, very good defense. The coaching mismatch is huge here. And I think Belichick knows what he's doing defensively. He can take away the deep threat option of Olave and limit them to those checkdowns. And I think it'll be a low scoring game, and I think the Patriots will play to their style and win this game.
We shall see. It's in New England, so I wouldn't be surprised if Pats pull it out.
Yeah, that'll be a toss-up, as will this game, which is a divisional showdown between Tennessee and Indianapolis. 4 teams are at 2-2 in this budging AFC South. Someone's got to step up and take this crown. This is a huge game for both these teams. So, what will make the difference and who gets to win?
So, I'm going to go with the home team here. Titans looked really good last week. I think the Bengals are just – there's something going on in that locker room. Like, they just didn't show up to play. Maybe the Titans had home field advantage, and maybe Derrick Henry was like, fuck this, I'm going beast mode. But I don't think he goes beast mode in this game. I think the Colts I think the Colts have a good linebacking core, and they run around the field and they get after it. Their pass defense is what definitely worries me. But both these pass defenses are really bad. So I'm going with my boy AR-15 with the Colts to absolutely just take over this game and run for like 2 touchdowns, throw for like 200. So I'm looking for the Colts offense to be explosive. I'm looking, if you want, hit the over in this game, because I think the Titans are going to come out throwing as well. So I'm excited to watch this. Let's go Colts.
I could see that happening. I was back and forth on this game, very tight game, and I originally went with Tennessee, but changing it now to Indianapolis. I'm going to agree with you here. I think the mismatch here is the Colts D-line versus the Titans O-line, which is it's still pretty bad. I don't know why the Bengals couldn't get home last week. I don't know what happened to that team, but DeForest Buckner and company will wreak havoc on this, what may be the worst offensive line in the league. And I do like the Titans coaching, but I also think that Shane Steichen is coming up as a good coach in the NFL. You know, he got his team to come back last week, and he got that big win over the Ravens the previous week. You know, kept his team in it despite a backup quarterback. So I'm very impressed with Steichen so far. And I say that because usually having Mike Vrabel on your sideline gives your team an advantage. It doesn't in this case. And with that trenches battle probably going to be won by the Colts, I like them winning as well.
I like that analysis. It's one in the trenches. You're right.
Yes. What's your lock of the week?
So lock of the weeks. So let's go. I'm going to do NFL first. Obviously, I got London game, Jags versus Bills. Give me Jags +5. I like their experience with these London games. I think their preparation for these games are more experience than the Bills have. I don't remember the last time the Bills had a Europe game. I'm trying to remember, but I couldn't find it. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars. Defense tightens up. Bills, I think, don't have a good start early, and the Jaguars come after them. And I think Trevor Lawrence has a career game against this Bills defense.
I like that.
Very bold pick. Yes. And then I have another one. I got Jets at Broncos. Take the under 43.5. And then Sunday Night Football, I think the 49ers are going to kill the Cowboys. Give me -3.5. So those are
like it a lot. My lock of the week for the NFL is the Packers on Monday Night Football against the Raiders. I couldn't believe this line when I saw it. -2.
Yeah.
This is an overreaction
100%.
to the blowout on Thursday night. The Packers are not that bad. They just the lines are just really good. It just blew them out straight up. The Raiders, though, are a bottom 5 team in the NFL for me, and they're probably going to they might have their backup quarterback, but even if they don't, the Packers are just much better on defense, much better coached overall. The Raiders don't really do a ton right on defense, and they don't make and their coach is abysmal. So give me the Packers all day -2. How is it so low? They gotta be fucking with us for real.
And shout out Chandler Jones. Yeah, Mike McDaniels was a part of the Aaron Hernandez murder, dude. Like, it's obvious.
Chandler Jones no longer a Raider.
Yeah. Right. Rip. But
yes,
hopefully he'll be all right.
Hit us with an upset.
Okay, my upset. I think you're gonna like this one. Rams at home against the Eagles. Give me the Rams.
Hell yeah. I have the Rams too. I have 2 upsets though. So
let's hear it.
That's me cheating. But why I like the Rams versus the Eagles. I already went into what I think about the Eagles so far, but I think the Rams, we were concerned about their offensive line issues and what is their defense going to be like without all their star players. But Aaron Donald is still a beast and still a huge difference maker. The offensive line is holding up so far. They did it in that Bengals game, but overall they've been holding up. And with Puka looking good and the running game looking good, I think the Rams can at very least cover a 4.5 point spread. But I could see an upset. I think more likely of an upset is the Steelers over the Ravens. Steelers are a 3.5 point underdog, and I like to back teams when there's a good roster and a backup quarterback, because the good roster tends to play up to their potential when they know that they have a backup quarterback. And on that note, Mitch Trubisky really isn't that much of a step down from Kenny Pickett, at least right now. So I think they'll rally around, and that defense is still really good. The Ravens might be feeling themselves after a big win. The Ravens are still very hurt. So give me the Steelers to win this game.
I like that, especially at home.
Yes. All right. And what about college football? You got any picks for those?
Oh, yeah, college football. Let's go. Where are my Jersey boys at? Give me Rutgers at Wisconsin plus 14. I also like Washington State is at UCLA. I like Wazoo plus 3.5. And my last pick, I fucking hate Bama, and I think Texas A&M's defense is legit. Give me Texas A&M plus 2.5 versus Bama at home.
I would love to see an upset there. I would love to see Alabama go down again.
Exactly.
And I'm going to go with Minnesota at home versus Michigan. I believe they're plus 20 or plus 19.
Yeah.
Minnesota's not going to win, but this is a classic Big Ten game on the road, and Michigan, they still got their big games coming up, which is not many this year, but they're going to be at Michigan State in a couple of weeks, and then at Penn State and Ohio State, of course, later in the season. This is a kind of game where you go on the road to what you consider an inferior squad and you don't play up to your potential. I think they cover that 19-point spread. I can see it being like 38-24.
I like that a lot. I'm definitely riding. Riding.
Let's go. Ride with me. And now, to cap off the show, let's give our MLB predictions. We don't really talk a bunch of baseball on this show. We usually just rant about the Yankees and Mets. But we should give some predictions. So I want to hear your ALCS matchup, who wins, your NLCS matchup, who wins, and then your World Series pick.
So my ALCS matchup, it's going to be obviously the Astros. Again, I think they just get hot at the right time. I can't see they have the Twins and the Blue Jays in their bracket. I don't think either of those teams could beat them. So it's going to be Astros plays the Baltimore Orioles, that young team. I think the Orioles they're just destined to be one of those young teams that has one of the best records in the league, just to come out firing, and they make the LCS. Even though they're both in the Yankees division, I hate both these teams. I'm going to go with the Orioles to go to the World Series on that side of the bracket. And then on the NL side, I'm going to go with the Dodgers, going to play the Braves in a classic NLCS. And then the Braves are just the best team in baseball. I think it's going to be Braves-Orioles. And then I think the Braves they win in 5 games. So that's what happens.
Well, Chuck, there's really no point in me going into my analysis because I have the exact same picks as you. I have the Orioles beating the Astros, and then I have the Braves beating the Dodgers, and I have the Braves beating the Orioles as well, but I have them winning in 7. I think it's going to be an amazing World Series.
I'm excited.
But my case for tailing your picks is the bottom tier of teams in both of these leagues are not very good. I don't see a ton of upset potential with any of these teams. Like maybe the Phillies have some magic in them, but I don't really think teams like that, I don't think they can just create magic twice in 2 years unless they have like an organization like the Dodgers or the Astros where they consistently do it. So those two organizations, the Dodgers and the Astros, have been consistent at making it year after year, no matter what players they have, and it's hard to go against that. And then the Braves and the Orioles have the advantage of home field and just the most complete rosters. But the Braves, from top to bottom, their 1-9 hitters are all really good, and they have some great pitchers at the top. I think they have that edge in terms of pitching over the Orioles. So that's why I like the Braves.
Yeah, the Braves just fucking hit dingers like it's no tomorrow. Two things. I don't want to see the Astros in it again. Let's have a different team. Even though I'm a Yankee fan and Yankee bias, let's have a different team. I think everybody who's a baseball fan can agree. Please, let's have a different winner. And then let's not have the. I'm actually going to say the Phillies could upset, but I don't want the Phillies in the World Series because I don't want to hear that goddamn song. Watching you kiss her. Whoa, I'm in the corner. Shut up. I don't want to fucking hear that shit. I hate that song. Not a big Philly fan, but yeah, I'm excited. Playoffs started today. Rangers beat the Tampa Bay Rays. Rays are missing their child molester, Wander Franco, bad.
Yes, definitely. And Milwaukee is losing right now to Arizona. Corbin Burns has given up 3 home runs already through 4 innings. So
yeah, gross.
Lots of action in that game. So it should be an exciting 3-game series. But that's all we got for our show today. Whew, almost a full hour of content. You guys are spoiled.
Yeah, I love it. We're here all week. We're gonna be here all month.
We'll be here all year.
We'll be here all year.
Hell yeah.
The season's getting going. I'm hard as a rock right now. Like, come on, cuz.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So, if you like this content, subscribe to us on YouTube, Shoop Sports. Follow us on Spotify at the Shoop Sports broadcast channel. Again, pick up some jewelry if you would like from Arichi. All those links are in the bio. And until then, I'm Shoop.
I'm Chuck.
And we will see you guys next time. Peace.
Hey, bet responsibly.
Very much.